Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking some massive, literal paradigm-shifting breaking news hitting the executive condominium, or EC, market. If you follow real estate, you already know how absolutely critical these changes are. We're going to map it all out for you today so you have the ultimate edge in understanding exactly what's going down.
So let me ask you a question right off the bat. Are you planning to buy an executive condo anytime soon? Because if you are, you're going to want to sit down for this. Everything you thought you knew about timelines, financing, and your statistical odds of even securing a unit is about to completely change. We literally need to reset your expectations right now.
I know. Looking at the raw data right now, it looks like a giant puzzle. There are numbers, dates, locks, and percentages all over the place. But hey, don't worry. My whole goal today is to break this down step by step so you walk away with total 100% clarity on how to navigate this new market.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. First, breaking EC ruling changes. Second, the May 2026 cutoff. Third, waiting longer to sell. Fourth, the end of deferred payments. Fifth, a huge first-timer advantage. And finally, what this actually means for you. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. Breaking EC ruling changes. This is a true paradigm shift in real estate.
Moving to Part 2, the May 2026 cutoff. This is the date that literally changes everything. Okay, you're going to hear the term tender closure tossed around a lot in this explainer. So let's demystify that real quick. Tender closure is honestly just the official deadline for developers to submit their bids for government land sales or GLS sites. The set of rules you're going to face as a buyer depends entirely on exactly when this specific tender closes for the plot of land your future condo sits on.
You might want to circle this on your calendar. May 8th, 2026. That is our hard, fast line in the sand. If the tender for a GLS site closes before May 8th, 2026, you're golden. The old rules apply. But if that tender closes after May 8th, 2026, you are officially under the new rules. It completely separates the old era of ECs from the new one.
Part 3. Waiting longer to sell. Let's look at the new timeline for property owners.
First up, let's make sure we're totally on the same page with the jargon here. MOP stands for Minimum Occupation Period. Basically, this is the mandatory amount of time you physically have to wait, living in and holding onto your unit, before you are legally allowed to sell it on the open market.
And this is where things get absolutely wild. Under the old rules, your MOP was 5 years. Under the new rules for sites closing after May 2026, boom, 10-year MOP. The minimum occupation period hasn't just bumped up a little, it literally doubled. That's a massive, massive chunk of time you now have to factor into your long-term life plans.
And then there's the number 15. Yep, 15 years. That's the staggering new wait time for full privatization. Back in the day, an EC became fully privatized, meaning you could finally sell to foreigners and corporate entities after 10 years. Now, that milestone jumps all the way to 15 years. You're basically locked into a much narrower buyer pool for way, way longer.
Part 4. The end of deferred payments. Financing gets stricter.
So let's talk about the tool that's suddenly disappearing. The Deferred Payment Scheme, or DPS, was a huge, super popular financial option. It basically allowed buyers to put down their initial down payment, but then just delay the massive bulk of their mortgage payments until the project was actually completely finished. It gave people incredible upfront financial flexibility.
Well, brace yourself for this one. Under the new post-May 2026 rules, the deferred payment scheme is completely 100% banned. It is totally wiped off the table. If you're buying a new EC under these new rulings, there is absolutely no way you can rely on DPS to manage your short-term cash flow anymore.
Part 5. A huge first-timer advantage. Because hey, there are actually some silver linings here for new buyers.
Check out this massive swing. Under the old rules, the quota of units reserved purely for first-time buyers was 70%, but under the new rules, that quota skyrockets to an overwhelming 90%. If you're a first-timer, the odds of actually securing a unit just heavily swung in your favor. And there's a really specific, vital detail in the source data you've got to know about. That massive 90% quota for first-timers, it's held for 2 full years. Developers are literally mandated to keep the vast majority of their inventory exclusively available to first-timers for a really significant stretch of time.
Finally, Part 6. What this means for you. Strategy and next steps.
All right, let's wrap this all up in a neat little package so the before and after is perfectly clear. MO jumps from 5 to 10 years. Full privatization, up from 10 to 15 years. That deferred payment scheme goes from perfectly available to totally banned. and the first-timer quota swells from 70% to 90%. It is, quite literally, a whole new playing field.
But, and this is a really crucial footnote from the source material, every profile is unique. Yes, these new rules are universal across the board, but how they impact you depends completely on your individual life circumstances. Look, a 10-year lock-in might totally ruin the plans of someone looking to upgrade quickly, but it might not bother a family looking for a forever home one bit.
So, if your head is spinning a little bit right now, totally understandable. The source explicitly advises that you seek out a full lead analysis and get a personalized strategy in place. Don't leave your finances to guesswork, right? Get your own specific timeline professionally assessed against these new, way stricter metrics to see exactly where you stand.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Are you genuinely ready to navigate this newly restricted EC landscape, or is that 10-year lock-in going to force you to completely rip up your strategy right now? It's definitely a lot to process, but understanding these structural shifts gives you a massive advantage over the rest of the market. Thanks so much for learning with me today on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.